Hey, what's up guys? It's Sterling with Beyond Disclosure, and today we have quite the video for you. Now, if you haven't already been tipped off to what this is going to be about by the title, then you might want to look at that real quick. Let's just say it's going to be a little bit different than a lot of my other videos. I know that this is an uncomfortable topic, and I just wanted to say that in no way am I trying to harm anyone with this video or anyone's reputation or career. Everything that I'm about to say are theories, nothing's been proven, and you know, just want to talk about some stuff, man. It's crazy. We can't just stay silent, man. So just in case you guys live under a rock and you haven't heard about the horrific, alleged, that's right, I said alleged because I don't know if any of this is true, weird, cringy exploitation of kids in Hollywood, well, welcome to the internet and you've got some catching up to do. Today we're going to be talking about Nickelodeon! Like many of you guys, I grew up watching Nickelodeon. Shows like Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, The Amanda Show, the list goes on and on. I was a pretty basic kid. Dan Schneider! If you're already triggered, this is your chance to leave. Just go, it's fine. No hard feelings. For those of you who don't know, who is Dan Schneider? According to Dan Schneider's bio on IMDb, Daniel J. Schneider was born into a family with 3 older sisters in Memphis, Tennessee on January 14th, 1966. After high school, he went to Harvard. He decided to come back home to Memphis and get a job at a computer store. He also started classes and was spotted by a movie producer and asked to audition for a part. He got the part. Soon after, he moved to Los Angeles, where he worked as a pizza trigger delivery boy while auditioning for more parts. He has also just created a production company called Schneider's Bakery. Schneider's bio paints him as a good old boy from Tennessee, which he very well might be. Maybe all of the accusations are false. God, I hope they're false. So now that everybody out there is caught up to who Dan Schneider is, let's talk about why we're here today. Red State wrote an article on October 24th, 2017 that had this to say. Dan Schneider is a former actor and producer at Nickelodeon. He is responsible for nearly every one of their biggest successes in the last 20 years. Schneider has produced and written the shows that have given us breakout stars like Ariana Grande, Amanda Bynes, and Victoria Justice. Schneider has also been the subject of some very disturbing and consistent rumors for years. One need only search his name on the internet to find pretty damning rumors about him going back years. There are stories of his foot fetishes and how he acts them out on young extras alone in his office. There are stories about his relationships with the underage teenage stars and how they led to spin-off shows for the girls or blacklistings for those who didn't participate. If Schneider is the monster people seem to believe he is, some things do fall into place. Jamie Lynn Spears was on track to eclipse her older sister in fame when she dropped out of Hollywood in disgrace because of her unplanned pregnancy. To this day, she has never said a word about the real father of her child. Amanda Bynes is an extremely gifted performer, but tragically lost contact with reality. She went on a now infamous Twitter rant blaming her parents for basically making her a prostitute. It makes a lot more sense when you put it in the context of a Dan Schneider. Good God, there's more! One Twitter user teamed up with someone else to find all of this awesome, crazy, cringy, awful, terrible evidence that we're about to look through right now on this Twitter thread. Okay, so I've got the Twitter thread pulled up, and we're gonna look at some of these tweets that we got here with some evidence, as you guys can see. Starting off on the surface, just think of all the dirty jokes and sexual moments that he writes into his shows that are made for kids. View this gif of Ariana Grande when she's like 12 or 13 dancing in a bikini on a kid's show. This has got to be victorious, it looks like. I do know a lot of these shows. I was born in this time period. Let's move on. His jokes go way too far and they're obvious. This one's just weird. Like, she's like 16 and wrote in a script basically about something. Let's see what they're saying here.
Hey, Trina.
What?
You want to know my 2 favorite things about you?
Trina!
Okay, yeah, that one was pretty obvious, I would say. Let's move on. And literally every single one of them are sexual and he puts them in every episode. Alright? Let's see this next one then.
Actually, I just need to wash my hands. They smell like clams.
Oh, you had the clams.
Yeah.
Hard candy.
Well, it's hard.
A new electric toilet seat. Whoa! It heats up and vibrates. Oh man, that is awesome! awesome! Just think of me when you're using it.
Oh, I will.
My cat loves watching me bathe. Guess whichever way the wind blows me.
Well, I hope it blows you someplace wonderful.
That was an iCarly. How did I miss this stuff? Oh my gosh, like I remember a lot of these episodes, but I don't remember these references. Oh my god, this is a lot. What's this one? It's insane what he gets away with. I don't know why he wrote stuff like this so often and how it gets into every episode. Again, it's for kids. Alright?
One time my brother found a vacuum cleaner in our church basement. He took it home and now he keeps it in his room.
Well, you should call the church and tell him he has it.
Oh, they wouldn't want it back.
What else could that mean? I don't understand. This is crazy. And real quick, I do want to point out, I know that Dan Schneider is not the only person responsible for these. We're just looking at clips from shows that had him involved in it to see what people are talking about on Twitter. So, you know, we'll put an pin in this. We're gonna move forward, okay? For instance, in iCarly, when they use the slang term hobknocker, and it literally means this. Oh my god. This is bizarre. This is crazy. Like, maybe they just made up the terms and, you know, like they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. Garrett, oh my god, I can't even finish this. This gif is like too much. Okay, that's too awkward. I gotta keep going. Oh my god. Another gif. Jeanette looks passed out in this, like she's not even awake, but I'm sure she's just being silly, right? It's just a joke. It's fine. I don't think it's a joke. I do remember this episode, this Christmas episode right here, where they were like dancing. Here's a gif. Yeah. I mean, they're cute. Like, don't get me wrong, but this is a kid's show, and it's just kind of. Never mind. We're not gonna open that can of worms. Okay, let's keep going. It's not just what they wear, but it's the things he literally directs them to do on camera because it's good content and it's so weird. It is weird. So if this was like kids making content for other kids, and they really didn't understand that a lot of these things are pretty sexual and they could be taken wrong ways, it might be a different argument. But this guy is a well-known... we'll get to that in a minute. I can't comment on some of these. They're just too bad. Sexualizing children. Yeah, that's what's happening here. Okay, so now we get into like the real bulk of it. So in every show he's created, he somehow involves feet as much as possible. And this is, I do remember this. I remember there being like a lot of foot references, and I didn't understand that that was weird, you know? Who would? Like, you're a kid, you don't know that some people, you know, fantasize about feet, which is fine. If that's your thing, go for it. But it's a different argument when it's children. Here we have a gif of Ariana Grande putting her foot in her mouth. It wasn't even an episode. It's just something extra that he had them do. Okay. Leah Michelle says, look, this isn't even a quarter of all of the foot scenes in episodes. How do more people not notice how much he sexualizes minors' feet? And she's got like a lot of pictures here, and they're all feet, and I do remember some of these. I didn't watch a lot of Victorious, but the iCarly ones, and that one's from Drake and Josh. Yeah, definitely remember that. Oh my gosh, okay. Lots of feet. There's another foot. That looks like a cigarette holding with her foot. Yep. Oh, here's a tweet from Dan Schneider. Toes similar to fingers, but not nearly as good. Who agrees? That's so gross. Pick. Carly tickles Sam's very unusual toes. If you have a moment, will you please name Sam's toes for us? Video, would you like to see Victoria Justice pour ketchup all over her feet? Well, here you go. Thank you so much, Dan Schneider. You know, I wake up every single morning thinking, dang, I'd really like to watch Victoria Justice pour ketchup all over her feet. Little Ariana Grande from Victorious smiles at one of her co-stars' feet. But whose feet is it? You nasty, you need help, you need Jesus. Here's a post from Reddit from someone claiming to grow up in LA, and she says she was an extra on the Amanda Show a few times, and he, Dan Schneider, paid her $100 once just to tickle their feet. This thread is way longer than I thought, so if you guys want to see the rest of it, there is a link in the description, and it is a crazy, crazy time, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. When I was a little kid, I dreamed of being on shows like All That and The Amanda Show and stuff like that. That's what kids look up to at that age. So when you finally convince your parents to take you to an audition, and then some weird stuff like this happens, you're not gonna understand. You're gonna wanna do it, and you probably wouldn't even care. I mean, think about it, like, if that is your dream, to be the next Victoria Justice or Miranda Cosgrove, of course, you're not gonna care about certain things if you don't understand the full, you know, you're a kid, you don't understand. And until I was researching this video, I completely forgot that the logo for Nickelodeon used to be a giant foot. Look at this. What? Why? Why did we overlook this? I don't understand. How could we do this? This is our fault, isn't it?
No, it's not your fault. It's fine. It's their fault for being crazy.
Now, listen, I found on Reddit some crazy things when I was looking this up, and there's a thread where people say some really crazy stuff. For example, Dan, get in the van, Schneider. Dan, tween toes make the best shows, Schneider. Those are the only ones that I can read for you right now. They go really, really inappropriate, but sometimes laughter helps you process things a little bit easier. Not saying it's okay or funny, I'm just saying uncomfortable laughter can be useful. I couldn't rob you of the opportunity, so I've dropped that down in the description box for you to check out if you're interested. None of these clips or comments that you've seen so far place Dan Schneider in any kind of abuser role of any kind. I mean, they could all just be taken out of context, and I understand, you know, sometimes things just get a little awkward and you don't know what you're talking about, but in my opinion, there's too much evidence here to say there wasn't something a little extra going on. Let's move forward. So I found some videos on YouTube, miraculously, of some creepy moments involving Dan Schneider and some different Nickelodeon stars directly. In one video, Dan Schneider jokes to Miranda Cosgrove, star of iCarly, about tasing her.
Because I will tase her if necessary.
Uh-oh.
I have the taser. We haven't had to use it in a long time.
I said lots of nice things.
No, I said nice things about you too.
Oh.
Some angel uploaded the behind the scenes portion of one of the DVDs from the Amanda Show, and there is so much in there that is just super cringy and creepy that I had to include that link as well. Supposedly, Robert Downey Jr. decided to speak out against Dan Schneider, but he only did so under the pseudonym him. Yep, and here's some of what he had to say. He's a monster, the worst predator alive, and if you wonder why nobody will confront or charge him, he's in charge of multiple hit shows for Nick, which rakes in oceans of money. Tens of millions of dollars multiplied by many years and many shows, not to mention his merchandising royalties. So Viacom, Nick, warn him to cool it off. Then pay for his damn lawyers. What about the parents? No tweener parent who shoved their kids into the limelight from birth is going to cross him either and risk career suicide and loss of revenue, especially if there's multiple kid actors in the family. And if the kids' agents are complicit too. A lot of settlements get paid out of Viacom's accounts. There have been rumors swirling about Dan Schneider for quite some time. Rumors that he is the father of Jamie Lynn Spears' daughter, got Amanda Bynes pregnant and paid for her abortion, and then took the virginity of countless Nickelodeon starlets. Much like a high-ranking priest, Dan Schneider and many others like him will probably never be exposed, unfortunately. But hey, that's showbiz, baby. During my internet search, I found an amazing podcast called Revenge of the Sis. They interviewed a young woman in October about her experience auditioning for Dan Schneider.
Once about 40 kids were selected, we were then told to take off our shoes and that we were each going to go into a room to show the producer, who is Dan Schneider, the tapes to see who he would want on the show.
Much of this information came out years ago, but he's still working right now in Hollywood. As I'm speaking, it's December 2017. So what's happening? Why is this a thing? You know, it could be that it's all BS and then none of it's true. And you know what? I really hope that that's the case. But unfortunately, with all the news coming out lately in the media, we can't trust anybody. If you take a look at Dan Schneider's IMDb page, you can see a lot of past and current projects that he's still working on, and I bet you're gonna recognize some of them. Think about it, if you're a parent, why the heck would you subject your children to that sort of environment? Is it because you want to become famous? Is it because you want them to have a great career and soar off into Nickelodeon and Disney stardom. I can't imagine telling my child, oh, make sure you wear that cute tank top and those cute little shorts and those cute sandals so that Mr. Dan Schneider can see all your pretty toes. Are you serious? Are you serious? Why would you do that? You would never ever do that to your own kid. There's bad people in the world, man. How is this still happening? Miranda Cosgrove started on Nickelodeon pretty young. I believe her first show was Drake and Josh. She might have done something before that, but that's the first time I had ever seen her. And then she got a show after that, iCarly. Like, dude, she like grew up, like she went through her childhood on Nickelodeon. Like a lot of the stuff that happens in your environment you get used to, especially when you're a kid and you can't see that this stuff isn't right. But like I said, all of these are theories, nothing's been proven, but we still need to talk about it. This is horrible and gross and cringy, and I never thought I would say this, but I'm so glad that my parents never took me to an audition for a Nickelodeon show. That's all I ever wanted when I was a kid. That's all I ever wanted. So glad I didn't get it. And yes, I was one of those who begged. Who knows? Maybe there were rumors floating around even then. Maybe my parents were woke enough to realize that that's not a good environment for your child to grow up in. What do you think about Dan Schneider? Do you think that he's a child molesting foot fetish creep? Or do you believe that all of this is complete BS and there's no way it could be true because he wouldn't still be allowed to work with kids if it was true? I don't know, but anyways, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting independent media on Patreon. And thank you for not touching kids' feet for your own creepy needs. Bye!